Welcome to the Filmsteins, the podcast where we discuss all things movies. Join us as we dive deep into the latest releases, revisit classic films, and explore the art of cinema. Whether you're a film fanatic or just love a good flick, we've got you covered. From Hollywood blockbusters to indie gems, we'll be breaking down the storytelling, cinematography, and everything in between. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready for some cinematic magic. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/filmsteins. We offer tiers at the $1, $5, and $20 level, where the $5 tier will grant the ability to request films for future episodes. This is the Filmsteins, where movies are more than just entertainment, they're an experience. All around you. And welcome back to the Filmsteins. Thank you for joining us today. And I'm joined today by my heretic friend, Lucy.
Hello, everyone.
You can join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for brand new episodes of the Filmsteins. Recent episodes include Iron Man, Blue Beetle, Slaughterhouse, Gran Turismo, and 2019's Ford vs. Ferrari. Great film. Iron Man's good too. But today we're discussing a film from 2018, Corin Hardy's The Nun, the first chronologically in the Conjuring Universe. Did you know that? That makes sense, right?
That makes sense.
I don't know if that was obvious to you or not.
I guess I didn't think about it, but yep, makes sense.
Yeah, we'll talk about it here in a second, but before we say anything, did we or did we not like this film? Did I like this film?
I don't think you like this film. I think you appreciate maybe it being part of the Conjuring series because it's, one of the better horror series.
Yeah, there's not a lot of franchise series horror things out there that are interesting.
Yeah.
They usually have one or two good ones, and that's about it. The only one that kind of speaks to me ever was Saw.
Yeah.
So.
But other than that, I don't think you were a big fan.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you were bored out of your mind on this film. How's that sound?
Not quite.
I was bored out of my mind on this film. This film sucks. The Nun sucks. All right.
Damn.
I don't appreciate this film on very many levels. There's a couple things I do like about it, of course. It's not too hard to find a shiny turd, right, in a mountain of turds.
Damn.
So they happen.
The Nun, a shiny turd.
A mostly dull turd, but some shiny parts. Yeah, so I do like the Conjuring films. I like Conjuring 1, 2, the Annabelle creation. That's probably about it. Maybe the third Annabelle. The first Annabelle is probably the worst, then The Nun, then La Llorona. That's probably the order of the bad ones. Because there's some things I do like about this. There's nothing I like about the first Annabelle, except, I guess, the end. I guess. Maybe one day we'll talk about that film, but I don't want to spend any time on that. Yeah, so this film is sort of frustrating on some level, because I do want to like it, because the nun when she pops up,
she's great.
She's pretty great.
She's creepy. Why is she creepier in the nun movie than she is in her own fucking movie?
There's a lot of reasons why, but the core of it may be a less is more situation, where we've got this lightning in a bottle. We don't want to let it out and investigate it. We just want to keep it there, and when it makes sense to pop up, it pops up. So, yeah, those are kind of my preliminary thoughts. Give me some high level thoughts, man. What does your gut say about The Nun?
I mean, I liked it enough. It wasn't like, Bunny Man level.
No, of course, it's much higher production, much better acting,
and there were enough jump scares to get me, and I like that. I appreciate that. The first few times we see the nun, she's creepy as hell. So, the face thing. So that got me until I saw her way too much.
She's
and
like
now
the main
she's
character.
My friend.
Yeah. She's your friend. She's like the main character. Yeah, I know. It's so bizarre how much we see her.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I'm like, or I don't think any slasher, paranormal thing has ever been shown so much in a single film.
Yeah, it gets this much face time on film. But it kept me captivated enough throughout the whole film. So I wasn't bored.
I was bored.
I didn't want to turn it off. I didn't want to watch something else. So I still paid attention. But there was something there. There was definitely something there that didn't get me like a horror film should. And I'm an easy target for horror films.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if you didn't scare me as much as you should have, that's a problem.
Yeah, and I think that has one part to do with hardly any build up to any of the scares. Like, they're really cheap. The scares are as cheap as they come in this film.
Yeah.
They're just in moments where you're paying just a little bit too much attention, and then, they throw something at you. Something's behind the curtain or whatever. And so they just, I don't know, they don't earn any of the scares in this film at all. And that bothers me, because it feels like it's just like, haunted house. But this is not a haunted house. This is a medium in which we tell a story. And I had a hard time finding the story in this film.
Yes. Because one of the things I had a problem with was, why did he decide to be a nun? I don't know if they cover that.
They do and they don't. They do in all the other horror movies ever made, and with demons. And they do briefly here, because they have to, right? They got to set their own demon logic. Demons take on the form of your greatest fear, right? Or your internal demons, I should say.
But they didn't say that here.
I think Burke says it at the beginning. I think he tells Irene to be careful because of that.
Okay, maybe I wasn't paying attention.
Real brief. That doesn't explain why she's always a nun still.
Like, okay, cool, but...
Because it's just like a justification. Saying that's just a justification of, like, okay, the demon can have any form. It's like, okay, that's lazy writing first and foremost. But okay, but we still need like micro justifications, like, what's your fear? What's the thing that comes out of the closet in Harry Potter?
Oh, your Bogart?
The Bogart. We need something, that's a demon. The Bogart. That's like, so, I have a big problem with that. And I have an even bigger problem. Why was Irene selected out of all the nuns? Fate, destiny, coincidence, determinism.
Yeah, they don't really cover that here, do they?
No, it's stupid.
Yeah.
It's totally pointless.
Because I guess she's supposed to be smart. So is she like the smarter of all the nuns anyone knows? I mean, is that it? She's not even a nun. Is that it?
Maybe. I kind of took it from the divine perspective, that she was one of the more questioning nuns, or one of the more inquisitive nuns, I should say, where she was even teaching her students about prehistory.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs and whatnot. And so in some nun eyes, some schools of thought within Catholicism, maybe that's not totally on board with nunnism or Catholicism, right? And so maybe God, in their eyes, God was like, we're selecting her to show her that what we teach is correct in its entirety. That's how I kind of took it.
Let's teach her a lesson.
Let's teach her a lesson. Let's put the fire under her and show her what a fucking miracle looks like.
Oh my god.
That's how I took it.
And I guess she did have the visions.
Which is stupid. Why?
But I didn't know people knew that. So people know she has visions?
I don't think so. So.
I mean, that's weird. That is weird.
Because Burke makes sense. He's just one of the in-house, like the Pope's exorcist guy. They just send him out on different missions, and was like, all right, we need to go expunge this demon over here. It's like, okay, Burke is sold, man. I'm like, good, but why? Irene being selected bothers me a little bit. But she turns out to be okay. Another big problem I have with this from a story point of view is at the very beginning, where our Frenchie dude,
Mm-hmm.
Morris, is...
Maurice.
Well, he says it like Morris.
Oh. Does he for real?
Yeah.
I didn't even pay attention to that.
Maurice. Like the orangutan from Planet of the Apes. Your favorite. It's my favorite, actually.
That's your favorite.
I like, in the very beginning, him... I mean, I do and I don't, because there's not a lot of character within anyone, but they had this moment to... It almost felt like they were starting to build that this nun might be... She's going through the growing pains of becoming a nun, She's a young nun, she's tempted by X, Y, and Z, and we have Frenchie, hitting on her and stuff. He's just doing his thing, and it doesn't go anywhere. Like, we're not forced to question with her how she feels and stuff. She just smiles at him and is like, stupid.
Yeah. I thought that was going to go somewhere too, but it obviously didn't. And I know he's kind of there for the comedic relief, but you don't always need to have one. You're a horror movie. You can decide that. And if you do have one, I mean, flirting is not comedy
Or relief.
or relief.
It builds tension normally. In fact, I would argue in horror, in like demon-esque films, the comic relief often comes from the demon.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
It's true.
And Valak doesn't really talk here like a lot of demons, tend to, which is kind of funny too. Because that is pretty kind of a tropey thing. The demon is real nasty and has real vulgar and everything, and it's funny sometimes. And Valak here is not. She's a mute. It's a mute. I thought that was kind of an interesting choice.
Yeah.
So I have a problem with the setup almost in its entirety, and that's whatever.
Yeah, because even when they meet Frenchie and he was like, "Okay, let me take you to where I saw this nun that committed suicide," and he goes and takes them there. And why was he there in the first place? Just delivering shit?
He was the delivery guy, sounded like.
Okay.
Which I feel like had enough setup or had enough like logic there. I was like, all right, I'm sold for that.
Yeah.
And I did kind of like that the nuns never left the monastery.
Yes.
He delivered them in this delivery bay, and then they would pick up the stuff in there, and they never left. I thought that was kind of fun, but it's fun. It's funny that the best parts of the film are not actually there, too, because we see some of the nun shenanigans happen at the very, very beginning, right? The first 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But also through her visions, and so they're not even real.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I guess also when he took him to that delivery place or whatever, and he was like, "Oh, I moved the body." First of all, why is he moving the body to the ice freezer, whatever thing he called it? That's weird.
That is weird.
And then when he moved the body was just there sitting up. So that was pretty cool. That was a nice little setup after you get over the fact that it's just weird. And then the horse doesn't want to go all the way to the delivery place. Like, they have to walk the rest of the way. I mean, why are you even delivering there, dude? If your horse won't even go that way,
Decent pay.
Was it?
I
don't know.
I don't know.
Nothing's decent enough.
Well, yeah, why did he have that job? Why was he... I guess he didn't believe in the superstitions, but at the same time, he said he didn't, basically saying that it was a silly thing to spit on the ground to ward off evil or whatever. And then right before he goes into the church, or right before he goes into the monastery, he spits.
Just in case.
Is it just in case thing?
It's a just in case thing.
Okay, so maybe he just doesn't really believe in it until he, has to face it. So delivering is fine. So it's like, it's just a pay cut. I mean, it's just a paycheck.
It's true. And after the first time you make it out alive, you're probably okay. So you keep doing it.
And I guess normally there probably isn't a hanging nun from the balcony. So maybe it's just the creepy woods normally.
Yeah.
And the creepy crosses. I will say the set design, I guess, it's hardly set design, but the like minefield of crosses all the way around the monastery is pretty cool. I like that. And I like the little nod to, it being it keeping the evil in and not trying to keep the evil out.
Yeah.
I like that. That's good. I don't know why we couldn't have something to actually tell here in this location. Some story.
Yeah, it's like they decided who the bad guy was, our nun here.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
What can we do with this nun? I don't know, but let's just put her in because she is creepy as hell. Like, all right. And that went south.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because it's more or less now the launching point to Conjuring. I also like, I guess, the very beginning and the very, very end, where they kind of give you the story of the nuns and how they were slowly but surely gets wiped out. And then you find out that the nun that hanged herself sacrificed herself to not let the evil escape within, a living body.
Yeah.
That's cool. So they probably had that, and then the nun, they're like, all right, we have the bookends. How do we flesh this out?
We have the meat. We need the sides. I mean, I do like how you called it, the set design. That's pretty cool, but it's not hard to get great set designs when you have a religious theme, because there's a lot of creepy churches.
Yes, that is very true.
So you can't go wrong there. It's hard for you to go wrong there.
Yeah, it builds itself out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally. And then especially with the bells within the graves and stuff, I'm sure that was probably already there.
Yeah.
Maybe not on location, but where they studied to kind of recreate what they were looking at and stuff. That was, that's pretty common practice. And then, yes, that's creepy inherently.
Yeah, and bringing up the bells, that was one of my big problems with the story logic here, was when she was outside, and then she's like, Father, like, because I guess Father Burke had already been buried, and he was ringing the bell, and all of a sudden she's like, Father, and starts running towards him, like, how do you know it was him?
Yeah, that was weird.
That was weird. That was like she couldn't hear the bells out there. She definitely couldn't hear him out there. She didn't see it in the vision. There was no way for her to know he was out there. But she knew, I guess.
I guess she knew. I don't know how she wasn't just creeped out. I'd have been like, nope.
Yeah.
I guess I'm going back to bed. At this point, I don't even know.
She didn't see he was missing. We didn't even have this cut to where she walked by his bed and he wasn't in bed. I mean, it was just weird.
Yeah. It's bad storytelling.
Yeah.
It's terrible storytelling. There's we have no idea what they're really doing there. We see them communicate with a few nuns that are not there.
Yep.
And so it just doesn't amount to anything. It's just like, what is happening?
Yep. Like the reveal that the nuns aren't there is cool, but that's
because we just sat through an hour and a half of thinking the nuns are there. It's like, oh shit, they're all actually dead. Right. It's like, okay,
that's it.
You surprised us by exhaustion. It's like walking through a desert and then finding a bottle of water. Surprise!
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so stupid.
And then the snake bits were just weird to me. Like, this isn't, unless Valak here is tied to snakes in some way. I don't know.
Well, I guess a lot of lore tries to tie Satan to snakes, but there's...
Yeah, but, each demon has its own thing. It's not just, snakes are evil. Let's put snakes in evil world. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I don't know.
And then the snake coming out of her mouth, and I don't know. That was just silly.
Yeah, there was no logic.
Yeah.
There's just no logic. This is the kind of movie where you watch it and you're like, along the lines of Strays, but not quite that bad. That you're just like, I don't really know if I like movies.
I didn't have that big of a problem watching this because it was creepy enough. It was, even the dark tone was enough to keep me engaged.
That's good.
What was going to happen next.
I'm glad to hear that, yeah.
But nowhere near, any of the other Conjuring films. But it wasn't that bad for me.
Yeah. What do you think about their performances?
I thought they were okay. I liked them. They were likable enough, their characters. But that was it. It's hard to gauge how well their performances are when they didn't follow a story.
Yeah, when they're hardly performing. They're just...
Yeah. But, nothing felt fake or overly performed or...
Was just bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's... Yeah, I get that. Burke was a little off to me. I didn't like how he did anything, really, but... it is kind of hard to really say because we didn't really have... there was no story to be told here. There was no setup for a sequel. We know there's a Nun 2 out now. There's no setup for a sequel.
Mm-hmm. Well, kinda.
No.
Kinda. There's a setup that there will be one.
Yeah.
But there's no story setup, I guess, for a sequel. Yeah. But I did like that they had to, destroy it with the blood of Jesus Christ. And then they had blood of Jesus.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes. That almost feels like that should have been in the Pope's Exorcist. That kind of shit. That they got metal to the craziest degree towards the end there. So first of all, it all of a sudden becomes this national treasure movie where we have to find the keyhole, basically. We have this ancient key, and we're we have to find it within the monastery and everything. So I kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish I don't know, that'd be cool. Maybe cool to get more of, just in a full-fledged National Treasure horror movie. That'd be fine at this point. Conjuring, come on, let's do it.
That'd be cool. All right.
And then so what they should have done is built up Jesus's blood as this legend, this mythological kind of thing that is like metaphorical, and then we actually find it. That's what they should have done for that. That would have been enough for probably the whole movie, to be honest, because that would have been a pretty sick payoff. But yeah, they actually have Jesus's blood, which is, right. I mean, this movie might suck ass, but that is one of the coolest things in all of horror movies ever made.
Yep, I agree.
And it doesn't look like shit. Like, the little vial and everything, and it's in a little vial cross and everything, and like in a little ornament. It's pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
And then it's pretty crazy that she drinks it, or she puts it in her mouth and then spits it on. That's pretty metal. That's pretty crazy. Irene definitely gets a mark in my book,
All of a sudden, it's a different kind of movie.
It really is. It takes a turn for the better. I wish there was some setup for that, because the last 10 minutes are pretty fun.
Yeah.
In fact, maybe 15 minutes. They're pretty fun. And I hate that it felt like it took 3 hours to get there for me.
How'd you feel about them showing you the bit from The Conjuring?
I think that stuff is very cool, because it's like Marvel-esque, where we have this connective tissue to all these, and it's really fun. It's fun in Marvel too. And I'm still, even though none kind of sucks, I'm still very curious about how that, like, even more of the connective tissue there. Like, how do Ed and Lorraine get involved with the Frenchie? When do they meet him? I'm very curious about that. If anything, this movie is worth watching for that tie-in alone. Yeah. And the very end, of course. The very end is very, very cool.
So just watch the last 30 minutes and you'll be good.
Yep, pretty much. Watch the first 5 minutes with the nuns.
Yes.
And then the last 30 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll be good.
You'll be set.
I thought the scare where Burke was in the coffin underground was pretty decent. Did you jump?
No, that didn't get me. I think I got when the abbess was not real and her little veil thingy comes off. I think that was a bit where I got.
Okay.
Honestly, I can't remember any of the others, which is bad. I usually remember my jump scares. I remember why I'm creeped out. I remember why I can't sleep.
Yeah.
But not here.
Yeah. This is probably among the most forgettable horror movies I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Because I said it in the beginning. You give me so much nun that I'm not scared of her anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm like, all right, I know who you are. I see you come in.
That's where the less is more aphorism kind of comes from, where in horror films, man. It probably predates that quite a bit, but it's very useful in that scenario, because your imagination is much scarier than anything they could ever show you, Like letting that tension build inside you and then delivering just briefly, and then that tension, that when they deliver it, it's relief. Even though it scares the shit out of you, it's a little bit of relief, and then it needs to rebuild. And
yep,
they don't do any of that with you. And then I guess the editing and cinematography on the nun itself don't help, because I appreciate the style I guess they've taken, but they've taken on a weird like skippiness to it. It's got like a weird jerkiness. You know what I'm talking about?
No. Like
the camera will just jerk and like move real fast into it, and like it's weird. It's not like smooth or anything, and
okay.
It's a little just weird stylistically.
Like a forced scare.
Kinda, yeah. I mean, in this
if you're not gonna jump scare, I'm a jump scare the camera to make you feel like you're
to make you uneasy or something. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I can't believe it's been 5 years since this movie came out. I remember when it came out. The Nun, 2018. Why can't we just have James Wan do all of the Conjuring thing,
That'd be awesome.
He's not that busy, right?
I mean, he was part of the story here. What was his involvement here? Or is it just his name attached here?
You never know, because it's, or of course that reminds me of Tim Burton and The Nightmare Before Christmas, and how he just was not involved in the production of that. He designed the characters many years ago when he was a child and handed them off to Disney, and they made a movie with them.
Yeah, you just never know whose involvement was where, what, until they come out and say it.
It's just, when you see The Conjuring and even some of the Annabelles, and you see this, you're just like, one thing just does not look like the other, you know? All right, man. Do you have a budget guess for me?
Yes. So I was a little bit confused on how to approach this one, because it's part of the Conjuring series. It was like, what, number 5 or something? Like, not chronologically, but it coming out. So I thought it would be higher than normal horror films, but then it didn't look like it was a very high budgeted film. So I was stuck between 10 and 15 million. So I went with 15, but then I might be giving it too much credit. So I don't know.
No, I get that. And especially when you have James Wan in the mix, you're like, if he was a producer in this, he knows how to spend money. Like, he knows how to stretch the money.
Yes, he does.
So I can see the
hesitation.
The hesitation, yeah. It says here is 22 million.
Oh, 22 million?
Yeah, it seems like a bit much.
Yes.
Seems like a bit much. I would have guessed probably closer to the 10 million as well.
Yeah, I thought 15 was giving it too much.
Yeah.
Wow.
Especially because it was so, I don't know, maybe the locations they filmed on were quite a bit.
Come on, old abandoned churches? Easy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Would seem cheap. Who knows? Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
And how well did it do?
It did super well.
Oh, okay.
Made 365 million.
Wow.
So over 10 times its budget.
Wow, that's impressive.
I think Conjuring is the number 1 grossing horror franchise. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, that would make sense.
By like a lot. I'd have to double check that, but yeah. I mean, that's awesome. I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to see a cheaper film be able to make that kind of money regardless of how I feel about it, but
yeah.
It's very cool, very cool. And look, of course I want all good things for the Conjuring franchise, because I'm really looking forward to, I haven't seen anything about it, but I really want to see the Crooked Man movie.
What is that?
It's one of these little dudes. I think it was in the second one. I think the nun's from the second one too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
The Crooked Man was messing with the little boy in the second one, I think. And he was like this real tall dude with big teeth. And so it's a similar thing with the nun. Are they just gonna force a movie upon us, or is there actually some history to the Crooked Man? Because he looks like a creepypasta guy, like Slender Man or Mona, or what's her name with this internet creepypasta shit. Crooked Man kind of fits that bill, and I think that's cool. That blue guy with the teeth, Happy Friends or whatever, Poppy Friends, I don't know, some YouTube shit, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't watch creepy stuff on YouTube, especially on YouTube. No,
I feel like the creepiest stuff is on YouTube.
Yes, I agree. I'm not touching that.
We need, and thank God for the Talk to Me brothers. I can't remember their names right now, but they're from YouTube. We need some more YouTubers over here making movies. You know what I mean? Get these guys some like $10 million budgets. Get them on this shit. But yeah, man, do you have any final thoughts for me? That's about it for this.
Yeah, go watch it just for the Conjuring series.
Yeah.
And for, I guess the new Nun 2 movie, so you can have a background. Other than that, don't walk into it with a lot of expectations. But if you like it, that's great. I mean, I enjoyed what little bit I could, so.
Yeah. I feel like this movie might be a good, like, baby's first horror movie. Kind of simple. It's a very simple story. Very cheap scares.
Yeah.
Nothing super graphic or anything. And Yeah, I feel like it's a good baby's first movie.
I think
Baby's first horror movie.
I agree.
All right, man. Thank you for watching this film with me. It was a film.
No problem. Thank you for making me watch this film and not scaring me.
And not scaring you?
Yeah.
I didn't scare you?
No.
Afterward?
Nope.
Oh, I gotta get on that. Forgot. All right, you guys. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Filmistines. Remember, you can catch us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for brand new episodes. This was a fun talk. I had a good time. But until next time, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Filmistines. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed our discussion and gained some new insights and perspectives on the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon at patreon.com/Filmistines. And follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners, so if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching, keep loving the magic of movies. This is the Filmistines, signing off.